into BMX riding because my friends around my house, they all start riding. So, nothing crazy, it's like any kid in the street. And one day we met a guy that did flatland, so we started trying that as the tricks with balance on the flat floor. And then we met some guys that did street, and they were all around the city jumping and doing stuff, so that caught my attention. And one day we went to the skate park, and the first time I went, I said, this is what I want to do. I've been riding for 18 years now. It's hard to say just one favorite trick. Right now I like opposite tail whip, which is when you spin the frame, you have like a natural way when you ride. Like playing baseball, you're probably right-handed, but doing it with your left hand will probably be very difficult. So I like right now tricks that are my opposite side. And, they're fun. They're just very. They make it difficult, so it makes it interesting. There's a lot of things that scare you. Every time you ride, you're kind of scared, but with time, you learn how to talk to yourself and not be so scared or convince yourself into doing something stupid. But I think it's just time and practice. You learn, what you can do, where you can push. Hold on tight and hope for the best. I had a couple of injuries. Last year I had a couple of bad ones. I did a trick and my handle got caught on my shirt, and I landed on my head. I ended up in the hospital, neck brace, everything. My shoulder is like. I think when stuff like this happens now, it's like you take a step back and you recover and you come back. I think when you have an injury at the beginning of your career, it's harder because you still don't know, you're not established, you don't know what's going to happen. And a couple of times I was very close to quitting. I was like, I don't want to go through this. But a couple of guys, I remember when I broke my lumbar bones, it was at Excellence in Brazil, so I couldn't compete. And a couple, Mark Losey, who was the editor of Ride BMX, the biggest magazine in BMX, and Lee Ramsdale, they came to the hotel. I was, sad, sitting, and they showed up and they gave me a magazine and some stickers. They were like, hey man, good ride and we'll see you soon. And that right there gave me an impact that I was like, oh, these guys noticed that I can ride. So, I did my recovery, I came back, and, years later I started competing the big competitions and doing better. And it's crazy because now, we live in the same city. I think to be good at anything, you have to be consistent and you gotta have discipline. As much as I would like to party, I wouldn't party before a contest. I try. You have to practice a lot. You have to do your homework before you do the test. So I ride every day, no matter what happens. Even if I don't feel it, I'll cruise just for a little bit, because the most important part is to have time on your bike. I also work out a little bit, just try to keep the body strong. But I think that the most important one is the mind. It's like trying to know what you need to do, when to do it. You have to learn how to compete. It's not like you just show up and, hi, I'm really good, I can compete. It's like you learn a process, how to not be so nervous, how to have a plan B when plan A goes wrong in the middle of your run. You only have seconds to make up changes. So, it's practice, a lot of practice. And I think if you practice a lot, when you go to the competition, it just becomes easier. Some of it I learned just by doing them. And one day I kind of got interested in psychology, so I started reading more about it. And I learned that you can program your brain to doing certain tasks. So, I was competing against the best guys in the world, and, it was coming down to who had a better day. It didn't come down to who had more tricks, because we were all pretty equal. So, you know, being able to sustain that pressure I think is what made me be able to beat them more times than they beat me. You know, you cannot always win, but I was able to understand that process a little better and a little faster than maybe some of the other guys. And then you have all sorts of other factors. You know, you go to Estonia and it's freezing cold. If you practice in the Caribbean, it will be hard to adjust, and vice versa. You know, we go to Malaysia, 12-hour difference. It's really hot and humid. I like it, but it takes me a few days to adjust. You have to not only prepare for the competition, you have to also prepare your body for the environment that you're going to be at. So this year, here in Greece, I go to Peru next week. I might go to Germany between here and Peru. I gotta confirm that, but I'm going to Brazil, South Africa, Malaysia, Estonia, France, all this in the next 3-4 months. So it's most BMX related stuff. The official tour starts in Malaysia in March, I think, and then we go. The stops are gonna be France, Malaysia, I think Canada. That's not confirmed, but Croatia as well, and China. So that's gonna be the official tour, but besides that, you have many contests all around the world. This season is to stay healthy, number one. Number two, try to make podium at every event. It's hard because with so much traveling, it's hard to practice. Almost 2 years ago, I opened an action sports complex in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's it's a place for BMX, skate, mountain bike, anything with wheels. And it's from somebody that's never touched a bike or skate before, all the way to a professional level. So the idea of the complex is to get more people into the sport, and the guys that are already in, form them into possibly a professional career. I do lessons here and there, but I travel so much that it's hard for me to do. There's a few other riders, pro riders that live in town, and they do classes and they do all this stuff. I do what I can when I can, but for me it's hard. There were a couple really stressful events, really stressful battles here and there. I think 2006 when I won my first Duke Cup, it was 3 of us in the points race, and whoever beat each other was going to win because we were really close in the points. And I was nervous, but I was practicing so much that I was probably not almost, but I was very close to the peak of my career. But at the same time, it was Ryan Nyquist who's won, hundreds of events, and Scotty Kramer who was the favorite to win the event too. I was able to win with my first run, and then on my second run, I upped it even more, just in case. And that stays in my mind because it was the first cup that I won. I won it with, doing my hardest stuff possible. I did not hold back anything. My family was there. It was really nice. All my idols were there too. So it was cool to have them there, and they were supporting what I was doing. So I think that was the most memorable moment that I can think of. I think the most important tips is learn bike control. You can learn the hardest trick, but you need bike control. Number 2 would be flow. Learn how to ride a park. It's not only about learning the one trick, you also need to know how to move around the park. And number 3 will probably be learn as many tricks as you can. Don't just focus on one set of tricks. Once you learn something, try to just jump on the other stuff, man. It's crazy because kids this day, they focus on 2 or 3 tricks and that's all they do, when there are millions of tricks, and you see a difference when you play games with the other riders and they're not really able to do basic stuff because they skipped it. Or you go to a competition and they don't know how to ride the park because it's very, very big. Or you go places and it's very difficult ramps to ride and they don't have bike skills to ride them. So that's, I think, why these tips are very important if they want to grow in a BMX career. Yeah, you can definitely create new tricks. I created a couple, and it's hard to really make them happen, but some of them happen by accident, some of them happen because you kind of had an idea, you saw somebody else getting something close to it, but yes, it's possible. It's very difficult, but it's possible. The bike that I ride is custom made. The frame is made to my specification. It's only one in the world. I've been riding for so long that I know what I like and what I don't like. So this ride was a little better. I tried to keep my bike as light as possible. It has to be dialed, brakes have to work perfect. So I'm constantly working on my bike just to make sure that everything's good. But my bike is very special. And everybody that grabs my bike, they're like, whoa, this is so light, this is crazy. And but it helps me ride, it helps me compete, and it helps me when I have to travel not carry a big bag, Yes, this is my first time in Greece. My impressions of Andros is that it's insane what is there. I could not believe, the bowl is at a hotel, which is crazy. And then you have the snake run up in the mountain, like 10 minutes from the hotel. And just to get there, I cannot believe it was made by one or two guys driving there every day, digging this and pouring concrete, like I'm making this piece of art. It wasn't. You can see that it wasn't fully planned. That things can kind of just happening and working together, and now they have a masterpiece. It's insane. I really cannot believe it, and I've been posting videos online and everybody is losing their minds because it's so unique, and also it's like nobody thought it was here in Greece, So I think hopefully with this trip more people will come and visit because it's seriously insane.